Hi, everybody. It's Alveda, Evangelist Alveda King, and we're back on Pro Life Praise Variety Show. And I'm about to do something that's going to get me in a lot of trouble, so pray real hard for me right now. Hey, Rob. Hey, are you good at pulling rabbits out of hats? I hope you are, because I think Eugene just sent you an email with a 1 minute video that I really wanted to show when I introduce our first guest. So I'm going to ramble on for a couple of seconds and talk and hope you can pull this rabbit out of his head. If you can't, it's okay. And we'll just show her website. However, everybody, welcome back to Pro Life Praise Variety Show. If you're joining us for the first time, remember that this show started in the beginning when COVID had just been announced and the shutdown started. And my boss, Janet Morano, says, well, what about that music show you always said you were going to do? And so I was shut down. I was at home. And we started playing music videos and talking about hot topics. And we've been doing that for months. And so now I think Pro Life Praise Variety Show is here to stay maybe for a long time. Now, we pre-recorded the first shows. And then my boss, there again, very innovative, Janet Morano, has this wonderful show, Ask Janet. And I love that show. And so everybody gets to type in and ask questions. I'm going to ask you, viewers, right now, can you type in and tell us, say hi, tell us where you're joining us from? We're getting people from all around the world. And that's amazing to me, and that's something that technology can do. We've also found out that technology with COVID, and that's one thing. I can't say COVID's a blessing exactly, but one thing that has happened with COVID, a lot of media and TV, radio, and all that, we had to start doing it at home instead of the studio. I didn't have the makeup artist anymore, all that kind of thing. And so there are some relaxed rules that we got through COVID. And so I don't know how long we're going to keep that either, but it's here for now. So I'm about to introduce our first guest, and she loves to be behind the camera, not in front of the camera. So I'm amazed. I think she might love me a little bit, so maybe that's why she said she'd do the show today. Her name is Jan Horn, and she runs Studio 25 Productions. And a lot of my videos that you have seen, you can actually, Jan did a lot of them. Now, I've got a cookbook. And if you could show that cookbook, Gigi's Home for the Holidays. I was talking to Jan about doing a cookbook. I said, Jan, I want to do a cookbook, and we're just talking. And she says, well, do the cookbook. She said, did you know we could put QR codes in the book and you can scan them and they could see you cook? I said, Jan, can we really do that? And then I think you really do love me, Jan, because I said, hey, give me a recipe, and your carrot cake recipe is in there. So I want to introduce Jan Horn. And she just does all kinds of things, of course, weddings and special occasions, but she does political videos too. And so, Jan, I have this question for you. Jan Horn, Studio 25 Productions. Jan, what is your favorite video you've done during this election season?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. I wasn't ready for that. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I've really enjoyed doing a lot of them, though. I mean, anytime somebody can get on and talk about an issue that is important that people understand, I enjoy those.
Okay. So, hey, Rob, can we show her Studio 25 Productions page? I'm Evangelist Alveda King.
And I'm Ginger Howard.
You can even keep that too, if you can pull it. You can pull it.
I love it.
So there it is.
And we're not colorblind.
We're not colorblind. Okay, Jan, I get to pretend that that's your favorite video now. So anyway, that's our We're Not Colorblind book. And Jan, actually, before the book was finished, Jan, you did the first video with Ginger and me. And because we went up north of somewhere in a restaurant, and you filmed us, we talked about it, we were still conceptualizing. And then over the months and the weeks, and then when the book was ready to come out, we went back to Ginger's shop, and you did another video. It was longer. And then I called you back and I said, Jan, we need a 1 minute promo. And that's what they just, Rob, show that one more time. Show it again. I'm evangelist Alveda King.
And I'm Ginger Howard.
You can even keep that too, if you can pull it. You can pull it.
I love it!
So there it is.
And we're not colorblind.
We're not colorblind. Between filming the cookbook with Jan, the book campaign, I believe, and Catherine Mitchell is going to come up next. And I believe you videoed us in Selma with Catherine. You followed us with your cameras and everything when we marched across the Selma Bridge. So, yeah, Jan, why do you do what you do?
Well, I just love, I don't know why, really. I just love doing it. I really do. And the most things, like with what you're doing, I just really like I said, I like to be able to take a truth and get it out for people to understand it straight from the person's mouth rather than, reading it. Sometimes with reading, without voice inflection, you lose some meaning. So I just think video is important for that.
And you've interviewed so many famous people, but you just see people. And so what you do is actually an art. Now, I do want to say this because I'm going to move on to Catherine next. But I want you to stay because at the end, last 5 to 8 minutes, we answer questions. And somebody might have a question about, for instance, well, I thought I have a video and maybe I want somebody to do a video for me. Does it take a lot? Do you have to be a certain kind of person? Do you have to be famous to do a video? Absolutely not. So stay on because we may have some questions. And it's amazing to me because I'm going to talk Eugene out from behind his desk one day, Rob from out behind the camera. I want people to see all of us as a team. It's not just the ones who are in front of the camera who count. But Jan Horn is on the scenes, behind the scenes most of the time. And so I thank you for joining us, Jan. Now, we're going to take just a second and we're going to bring up Catherine Davis. Is there a picture of me with Catherine, Eugene? Okay, so Rob, that should be a picture with me, Catherine. We're walking across Selma. There we are. There we are. And I don't remember that occasion. You know what? That's probably at one of Catherine's meetings. She has a lunch and learn. And I think that's at the lunch and learn meeting. And we also did the Selma Bridge, and there are pictures of that, and you can find those over at Civil Rights for the Unborn. And I'm going to ask Catherine Davis in just a moment what her website is. And so she'll let you know. But Catherine is a warrior, a civil rights giant, a pro-life voice across the world, not just America. She's the author of at least 2 books that I know about. She hosts Lunch and Learn once a month. And boy, she hits some serious topics: human trafficking, the abortions, and the abortions after the babies are born and just left there to die. And there are just so many things that Catherine brings to the forefront about the heinous acts of abortion. And I do want her to bring in as well, Catherine, why is it so important now? I don't tell people to vote, who to vote for. I tell them to pray. I do say vote for life. I insist on that. So tie all this together. We're in election season. First, show us your 2 books, please, and tell us a little bit about those.
I have 2 books. One is The Fight for Life, Taking It to the Streets.
Yeah.
And the second is The Fight for Life, Turning the Wounded into Warriors. Both books are available on Amazon and can be in your home in a day or 2. You know, Alveda, we've been doing this fight for a very long time. It feels like eons instead of decades. But throughout the fight, we have recognized that there is a movement that has literally targeted the Black community. And that movement is led by Planned Parenthood. And they have been able to persuade people to accept that abortion is a way of life that should be embraced. And we have fought against that strenuously because the impact to the Black community is horrific. We have had more than 20 million Black lives lost to abortion. So it is important that we vote for candidates at every level who don't support abortion. Um, from the president to the dog catcher. We need to have people in leadership politically who understand the value of life and who understand that abortion is taking a life that God ordained to come into existence. So abortion literally is antichrist. It goes against God's mandate to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. And so I encourage people to vote their values, not their victimhood. Vote their values.
Can you talk about your new initiative to HHS? I won't say yours because you invited many of us to join you, and we want the viewers. So please also say maybe your website or where they can find information and even sign on to the initiative, but demanding that HHS bring some equity and justice.
Yes, most people don't realize that it is against the law to target a group of people based on their skin color. And it's been against the law since the civil rights laws were passed in 1964 and 65. And there is a special provision in the civil rights laws that prohibits discrimination by entities who get federal assistance. And Planned Parenthood has been getting federal assistance since abortion was legalized and even before for birth control actions. And so the National Black Pro-Life Coalition filed a discrimination complaint with the Department of Health and Human Services, alleging that Planned Parenthood's provision of abortion in America has had an adverse impact on the Black community. And it's because they target the Black community. They put their facilities in Black neighborhoods. They market to the Black woman. I can't tell you how angry I was when on Halloween a few years ago, they tweeted out that it's safer for a Black woman to abort her child than to carry to term or give birth, as if our children are a disease to us. No other woman's gonna die if they have their babies, but Black women, you're gonna die if you have your babies or give birth. So we filed a disparate impact claim against Planned Parenthood, and we are believing that they will do an investigation. And we gave them enough information to start that investigation, like the clinic locations, like their marketing strategies, how they sexualize the children through their sex ed programs, so that they can determine that Planned Parenthood's services is having an adverse impact. And in that determination, we're asking them to refer Planned Parenthood to the Department of Justice for prosecution for violation of the civil rights laws and all the other laws that they've broken, like selling our babies' body parts and Medicaid fraud.
Well, I don't tell people who to vote for, but I sure do tell people who I vote for. And in 2016, I voted for President Donald John Trump. And to me, he's the most pro-life president America has ever known. And I've also voted for him already because I early voted and I turned my ballot in. Now, one thing that we have gotten from President Trump, and there are many, many things, if you want to find out about his pro-life record, go to whitehouse.gov and some of the other organizations, such as All of Us, have his record, and we show what he did in his first term and what he's planning to do on his second. He keeps his promises too. If he says he's going to do something, he keeps it, and then some more promises. However, I want to ask this question. we are African American women, and you just explained how terrible it is abortion targets our communities. Now, we have a new Supreme Court justice. What does that mean for the pro life scene? The new justice, Amy Barrett.
I believe that for the first time in 47 years, the pro life community can have hope, real hope, that Roe v. Wade will be overturned. Um, Justice Barrett, Justice Gorsuch, Justice Kavanaugh, and Justice Thomas all have made it known that they will make their rulings according to what the Constitution actually says, rather than what the political community has said that it says. And if they measure their cases by what the Constitution actually says, there's no right to kill your baby in the Constitution. There's no penumbra of privacy in the Constitution that would allow us to take the life of another human being. And because of this adverse impact to the Black community, 20 million Black lives lost, more than 20 million. We don't actually know the real numbers because they don't count in certain states like California and Florida. They don't count them by race. But more than 20 million Black lives have been lost, and we can now have a great hope that Roe v. Wade will be overturned and it will no longer be allowed to summarily kill our children in the womb.
Thank you so much. Now listen, viewers, please just type in, where are you? I mean, you're all over America, maybe all around the world. I've seen some says, I've already voted for President Trump. Some are saying, right on, that's true for life. Let us hear from you. And in a few minutes, because our next guest is coming on, as soon as we talk to Mr. Bruce Lavelle, businessman. He and his wife own a diamond business. African Americans owning a diamond business. They don't go to Jared's, right? So anyway, but we're going to talk to Mr. Lavelle, Bruce Lavelle, my friend, about the Trump Diversity Coalition and about Black wealth. And if we can find time a little bit about the Platinum Plan that's out there as well. Is there a picture of Bruce and Alveda? Oh boy. And that's Jared Kushner, Bruce Lavelle, Alveda. And we have opportunities, Bruce. We've had so many opportunities to meet with and work with this administration. Yep. A lot of us just don't understand the importance of generational wealth and family wealth. And I know for sure you have brought that to the attention of this administration boldly. And I see you on TV and news shows all the time doing the same thing. So generational wealth, the importance of diversity, and the Platinum Plan. Yeah. The floor is yours.
Well, we have done it, Alveda. we.
Yeah,
yeah. But thanks for having me. Interesting, our journey, as you might say, what brought us all together. I just want to bring this note real quick. It's interesting how the mainstream media and people try to shape the president as being this biggest racist, but yet his presence in terms of 2015 brought the largest diversity coalition in the history of a Republican candidate. And we've got to meet some great people. It's ndctrump.com for all the viewers. It's National Diversity Coalition for Trump. It's been there since 2015. Me, Pastor Darrell, and many of us, Alveda and CJ Tara, Muslim Americans for Trump, Haitian Americans for Trump, Chinese Americans, Korean Americans, Vietnamese, you name it. The list goes on. And you can click on who we are, up there at the top, and you can see all the beautiful faces. And you can go to
click on who we are real quick. Who we are.
Who we are. There you go.
All right. Let's
scroll down through there, and you'll see Robert
Scott, Bruce.
Yeah, you see the over there.
Harvey's on there too. Hey, I see my friend. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Sikh Americans, Muslim Americans, actors, actresses, Cubans, Pakistanians, Colombians, Haitians, Mexican Americans, college students, Filipinos,
That's Day Gardner. Hey, Day.
pastors, pro-life. You know, you can just look at it. The list goes on. So many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Diversity, and that's so important.
And
And
yeah, it
go
didn't
ahead.
get a lot of press because the mainstream media has pushed that out. That the president has always embraced that. And I'm going to go really quick on in terms of where I'm at on this is the fact that this diversity coalition in 2015-16 brought the president the largest minority voter turnout in a Republican president's history. That's a fact. And
Wow.
stay tuned on 2020, you'll see that even double. And the reason that is because, like, you just saw those beautiful people out there. And by the way, there's hundreds of thousands of more that can't have their picture on there that has been with the president and promoted diversity. One blood, one nation, only one human race. We all agree into that. Not race by color, but just one blood. And we all come in agreement, especially the commander in chief. So, but one of the disconnects, and we've had conversations in 2015 and in his office, and I recall him telling me when he was talking to a lot of Black leaders around the country, is the disconnect in the Black community as it relates to the education, the job disparities. But most of all, watch this, me being a very blessed and successful business owner here in Atlanta, 27 years, one of the largest Black-owned jewelry companies in the country. That's a fact. But we've also built shopping centers and developed houses and all types of things, my wife and I. So we're very diverse in our portfolio, you might say. But one of the things as the president we talked about is the displacement on the retail commodities in minority communities, especially Black communities. So you ask yourself, for everyone out there, you look around in your beautiful community, if you choose to live in an all Black community or all Hispanic, wherever you want to live, you can live anywhere. But if you do, why not ask yourself, well, why not you own the grocery store or the gas station or the convenience stores or the, quote, retail commodities? Unfortunately, in a lot of the Black communities, a lot of folks from other countries own those commodities. And no disrespect to the ones who come over here and work hard. You have just as opportunity to do whatever you want. My question is, yes, you want to come historically, Democrats, Republicans, independents, whatever, has always, quote, want to, quote, court the Black vote. But why not? You always say, well, we're going to bring you jobs. But I say, no, you build the job and you build the job creator, meaning you be the business owner. Listen, there's 30.6 million small businesses in the entire country. Very small percentage, very tiny, minute percentage are Black ownerships in retail commodities. Did you know that out of those 30.6 million, we control 64% of the GDP? So everything you hear essentially in Congress and Senate, what you hear the argument is basically my payroll tax. Everyone out there is running a business. When you have to pay those quarterly payroll taxes, that's what they're arguing about. But there's a small, minute fraction of Black ownership. So the president's like, you know what? Well, we need to fix that. Opportunity zones, great bill by Tim Scott, opportunities.gov, or you can just Google opportunity zones and you get an understanding what that is. It's a very creative 1031 exchange where you can go in and do some private partnership initiatives with some of the minority community, or you can build an apartment complex or a daycare or whatever you want that a lot of the underserved communities have been left behind, which are tremendous great incentives to resurrect communities and build them. The other part of that is like, well, let's talk about access to capital. Let's talk about one of the points on the Platinum Plan as it relates to credit. That's a big conversation. We all know we go, as the Black talk, hey, what about the credit? What about the money? So why not in that one line item for those of y'all, Platinum Plan, you can Google Platinum Plan and it'll come up. There's 2 sheets of it. The president unveiled it right here in Atlanta 3 weeks ago and exposed it to the world. And one of the great line items I'm really happy about, there's many more because I helped contribute to this as well as Alveda and many of us around the country, we got to contribute to this wonderful, magnificent plan. It has a potential to bring $500 billion of resources to a lot of underserved
Back
people.
back to our community. But Bruce, I need to ask you this question, and everybody get your questions ready. Don't forget to tell us where you are, for what country or city or wherever as well. But Bruce, I didn't really get it. I heard it, but I know one credit issue is that sometimes it's hard to get credit if you're young, if you're a certain
Yep.
ethnic group, or something like that. So they're going to do water bills and gas bills and
Yep.
phone bills, maybe. So talk about that just for a second. You just have a couple of seconds, and then we're going to open up for a couple of questions.
Yeah, that's where I was going with, because, historically, for all the folks who were young once upon a time, I know Alveda and Catherine, the only young people on this panel, is that when you were starting off, they would want you to get a credit card, basically go into debt. I'm like, my God, but I have electric bill, water bill. Why can't those be counted as, quote, credibility? That's on the Platinum Plan, as Alveda stated. Also, real quick, we talk about banking, small banking. You know what we went through with Dodd-Frank, that terrible, heinous regulation that just destroyed a lot of our small community banks. Great life support for minority businesses. Watch this. So now we're trying to encourage and put people, Black people, very successful people, to encourage them to be on the bank boards, loan committees, underwriting, processors, in terms of bringing culture into the banking system that understands culture. So that's a very great line item in that Platinum Plan. Of course, I can talk about this for hours. I have it memorized, because we all help contribute.
Because you have to talk about it. People need to know. So listen, folks. Thank you, Bruce. And there's more of this. You can find Bruce Lavelle on Twitter, Catherine on Twitter, Facebook, Jan Studio 25. So, and Catherine, your organization, what's your website? You did give it to us.
The restorationproject.life.
Okay. So this is very important, and we did put the Diversity Coalition up on the screen in Studio 25. So does anybody have maybe 1.5 questions? We can answer something quickly, and if not, I will begin to wrap up and say that part of the mission of Pro-Life Praise Variety Show, we bring music sometimes. We didn't have a music video this week, and entertainment and that kind of thing. Real hard policy questions and issues. And each one has talked about some of that today. So I thank you for joining us on Pro-Life Praise Variety Show. In a minute, and I think I don't know if we have the actual video, Pray for America, but we're going to start rolling Pray for America in just a moment. And at the end of the show, we're right there now. And Pray for America, there's a video of it as well. You can see some of us in that video and what we do. I want to thank you for joining us on Pro-Life Praise Variety Show. And hey, we coaxed Jan Horn out from behind the camera. Does everybody get that? That's amazing. And so, my son just came into the door. Ouch, the puppy just bit me. John, pick her up and let me show her real quick. And then we got to do Pray for America. Come here, Daisy, as fast as you can. She's too wild, guy. Pick her up and just show it to the people really fast. Daisy, get on camera now. Oh, Daisy, don't kiss me, though. I don't like dogs. Excuse me. Hey, Daisy. Bye. Okay, here we go with Pray for America.
Donald Trump embraced the underserved community.